In 1919, in the small town of Longview, Texas, USA, home to about 5,700 residents, of whom 31% were Black, the Black community closely followed civil rights developments across the country. One of their main sources of news was the Chicago Defender, a well-known weekly newspaper that championed the rights of African Americans. In Longview, Mr. Samuel L. Jones, a school teacher, local reporter, and newspaper distributor, was highly respected and regarded as a community leader. Alongside him was 34-year-old Dr. Calvin P. Davis, another prominent figure in the Black community. In June of that year, a Black man named Lemuel Walters was violently attacked by a group of white men from nearby Kilgore. The reason was that he was rumored to be courting, or even having a relationship with, their sister, a white woman. Though it remained unclear whether the rumors were true, Walters was still beaten and later jailed in Longview. However, the punishment did not stop there. On June 17, 1919, a group of 10 white men stormed the jail, kidnapped Walters, shot him dead, and left his body near the railroad tracks, setting off a chain of violent and tragic events. Following Walters' lynching, the two Black leaders, Jones and Davis, approached Judge Bramlett to demand an investigation, but they quickly realized the authorities had no intention of acting. Walters' death, like so many injustices faced by Black people, was in danger of being ignored. On July 5, 1919, the Chicago Defender published a striking article about the incident. It claimed Walters' only crime was being loved by a white woman, an interracial relationship considered taboo at the time. The article quoted the woman as saying she would have married Walters if they had lived in the North. Though the article did not name her, most locals knew who she was. The article sparked outrage in the white community. They were furious, not only that the killing was made public in a national paper, but also that a white woman's reputation had been smeared. Many believed Samuel Jones was the author. Though he denied it, that didn't stop the backlash. The woman's brothers attacked Jones, driving tension between the two communities to the breaking point. Black residents were enraged by the silence of justice. White residents were furious over a perceived attack on their dignity. Both sides began gathering and preparing. Violence was near. Around 1 a.m. on July 11, 1919, about 15 armed white men came to Jones's home, intending to assault him. But Jones wasn't alone. Inside were about 25 Black men protecting him. Both sides were armed and ready. A fierce shootout erupted with more than 100 rounds fired. A few white men were wounded, and one was captured and beaten by the Black group. The others were forced to retreat in chaos. However, they couldn't return home immediately. They had to rescue the man left behind. They regrouped, broke into a local store to steal more guns and ammunition, and returned with about 100 men to Jones's home at 4 a.m. But this time, the house was empty. Finding no one to attack, they turned to destruction. They burned Jones's house, a neighboring home, and a nearby Black dance hall. The mob continued their path of violence, targeting Black-owned properties and neighborhoods. The anger had turned into an organized riot. After destroying Jones's home, the mob moved to Dr. Davis's house, another respected Black leader. Though they allowed his wife and child to escape, they still set the house ablaze. The violence didn't stop there. They also destroyed vehicles, torched buildings, and assaulted Black individuals along the way. It wasn't until July 12, 1919, that Texas Rangers and the National Guard arrived and restored order in Longview. Although many people were injured, and several from both sides were arrested for crimes like attempted murder, arson, and rioting, no one was ever actually prosecuted. Among the victims was 60-year-old Marin Bush, Dr. Davis's father-in-law. Reports say that on the night of July 12th, police came to his home, possibly to arrest him or place him under protective custody. Panicking, Bush fled and fired shots. One report claims that Jim Stevens, a white farmer, shot him after Bush refused to stop. Another account says Bush was killed by an armed group of white citizens. Either way, no one was held accountable for his death. After the incident, both Jones and Davis were forced to flee Longview with their families. They headed to Chicago, hoping to survive and start over, because their hometown was no longer safe. Though order was temporarily restored in Longview, the damage remained irreversible. No one was prosecuted or held responsible, despite the deaths, destruction of homes, and the devastation of a community.